at times this episode I kind of had to like remember, am I watching ReZero? Because this episode is really fracking lighthearted because there was actually not much darkness going on. There was more intrigue more than anything else that was going on. I thought to myself, it's actually so freaking interesting, the intrigue in this episode, the kind of political side of this world, the political side of Luginsia. It's actually freaking interesting, if I'm actually pronouncing the name of that place right. But still, it was interesting because now we're seeing the actual selection of people to go forward to actually be the next ruler. And they all kind of have their own agenda. They all kind of seem interested in their own right. Amelia kind of seems the best one out of all of them because she's not a complete douchebag. I mean, Priscilla's kind of that character that believes to herself that, look, this world was tailor-made for me, so I'm not at any disadvantage. Nothing bad can happen to me, so to hell with everything, since I don't have to do anything, I'm not at a disadvantage. And she seems kind of interesting. Every other single character that was introduced, the other two, and then at the end, Felt's introduction, all seemed interesting, since we kind of thought to ourselves, what's actually happened to Felt? Since episode 3, we've always wondered what has actually happened to Felt, because Felt's character kind of went off the radar, in the sense Reinhardt to grow away, saying Reinhardt, like, you gotta come with me, in the sense we don't know what actually happened after that point. But it was actually reintroduced in this episode, since she actually was reintroduced as a queen. I thought to myself, holy freaking Christ, so she's actually a part of the selection. She's part of the royal selection to go forward, actually kind of become one with the Covenant of the Dragon, and also come with the leader. I thought to myself, actually kind of interesting. I thought to myself, actually kind of a nice choice. I thought to myself, holy freaking Christ, there's a lot going on in this episode. Plus, it was very light-hearted. It's actually had its humorous points, as with Julius's character when he got introduced. That whole point when Subaru kind of sees him kiss Amelia's hand, that whole scene was quite funny because it just reminded you there was some light-heartedness to this anime. Behind all the darkness and all the depression, all of the sadness, there is some quite light-hearted moments. There's quite some humorous parts. Especially Felix's character. When Felix's character got introduced with, like, Catgirl. Like, I was like sitting there going, Catgirl, she's kind of cool. And so I kind of was like, she was an emissary that kind of came to Amelia's mansion, or Roswell's mansion, and said, look, you've been summoned, you've got to come down here, fam, because there's some interesting things going on, some really kind of intricate things that come down. And Suba's all like, oh, so we're going to the capital. And she's all like, no, I don't really want to get you involved. But then Roswell's all like, look, just take him there as well, and since it's not going to be a part of the royal selection business, just take him there to get healed and actually say thank you, because Rem actually says, look, there's people there that he has to thank, so just let him go there. And he's all like, nice, we saved him. And then he pats her on the head, and it's the most cutest scene in the world because she just blushes. I was like, please, my heart cannot take this much cuteness for one day. Please, can you stop? And then it happened later on, is when Emilia came out with her cowl on, it had a cat ears. I was like, my heart is feeling stuff that I've not felt before. Please, can you stop doing this to me? But it was doing it. I thought to myself, I'm completely on board with that. I want one of those. Why can't those exist in real life? I thought to myself, it's actually going to be interesting. I want one. But really, the kind of character I was really, really kind of like amazed to be introduced was Dark Souls Man, since basically Priscilla's actual knight. His character is something that he looked like he came out straight out of Dark Souls. He just praised the sun and went freaking out. I'm in ReZero now. He didn't realise, like, he praised the sun. Next minute he knows he was bloody in ReZero. And I thought to myself, he looks just like some character just come out of Dark Souls. And his character's kind of interesting since he kind of just feels Subaru in what's really going on with the whole entire thing. But the main thing for me was Felix's actual kind of servant, kind of like helper dude. I think his name's Wilhelm van Astria, I think that's how you pronounce his name. His character was interesting because he says to Felix, like, look, actually, I took a liking to him because really he's a kind of, he has the eyes of someone who has seen death many times. I thought to myself, that's interesting. What's going on with him? What's his dealio? And since also Felix saying, I thought to yourself, I thought you like cutting people in half. I thought to myself, freaking hell, like, what's going on with Wilhelm's character? He seems kind of interesting. I want to know more about him. I want to know what's actually going on with his character, because it seems really freaking interesting. It seems really interesting to see what he actually possesses, what he's actually going to do, because really, to me, I thought he was going to be the major kind of crux in the matter for Subaru's character. I thought to myself, he's going to be the character that might actually try to kill him, might actually be the kind of sadness that we haven't seen in this episode come back. I think he's the character. I think we've got to watch out for his character, especially Priscilla's character as well, because they seem to be the kind of crux of the entire thing. And then, for me as well, it's Subaru's character, because what happened was Emilia told Subaru, look, you've got to stay here tonight and tomorrow because there's some important business going on. I don't really want to kind of put you in the middle of everything that's going on. I don't want you to get involved since it's actually kind of really intricate business. Just let me go on my own. I will do this. Don't worry about me. Just let me trust you. Give me a reason to trust you. And then Subaru's all like, I don't like this whole idea. In a sense, he's kind of grown to that character that really cares for Emilia. He even says, like, there's people in the capital that really want her, like, as an enemy, in a sense, just to see her as an enemy. I don't really want to see anything bad happen to her. I want to be that kind of character that has to sit there at the sidelines and just watch things happen, and basically only be used when something bad's happening. I can't be that kind of character. And that's basically his downfall. Him caring so much was his downfall, because he actually tells Rem, look, I have to go there. I have to actually kind of see what's going on. I have to be a part of this kind of thing that's going on. I have to be a part of this. But that was his downfall, because when he went there, he pissed off Emilia, because Emilia said, look, I want a reason to trust you. And then him going there, meeting Priscilla, like, kind of, he was hitchhiking, and Priscilla actually kind of picked him up and actually went into the, like, I guess, the actual raw place, and actually kind of just sat there. When Emilia saw him, she's kind of like, the frack, man, like, I just thought I could trust you. Like, you just completely just, like, diverted my opinion on you. What you doing? Like, explain this to me later, because you better got good reason, because I won't be your waffle anymore. And he's all like, beep. And that's kind of my main reason. Like, he cares so much about her, but that's his downfall as well. He cared so much about her that it kind of grew on him. He didn't want anything bad to happen to her. Like, his intentions are pure. He doesn't want anything bad to happen to her. He wants to kind of get involved, because he thinks in the capital there's a lot of people that want her as an enemy, kind of see her as an enemy, kind of see her as a bad person. So he wants to protect her from those people, but his intentions are pure. But the way he goes about it kind of makes it seem like he kind of doesn't have any reason to be trusted. That's what I'm kind of getting at. He has that kind of thing. He cares so much, but he makes careless mistakes that makes him kind of realize that maybe he can't be trusted. And really, that's the kind of case. And since in this episode, it really was evident when Emilia saw him, and then she kind of had that disapproval face, like, no. But this is when Reinhardt got introduced, and then basically reintroduced Felt as a queen, and said this is actually the 5th candidate. I thought to myself, well, I didn't see that coming. Since Felt's actually a queen, I thought, well, that's actually kind of interesting. So she's actually now a part of the candidate, part of the royal race to actually become the leader, a covenant with the dragon itself. That's actually kind of interesting. I want to see what happens next. I want to see where this anime goes, because so far this anime has been fracking perfect. I just want to see where this anime goes. I want to see some more light-hearted, more refreshing takes on the world itself. I want to see this kind of episodes more often, because they were so fun to watch. Because in this episode, I was kind of enjoying myself. I didn't once kind of just burst out in tears. I just didn't want to see his characters, anything bad happen to him. It was all light-hearted fun, but it seems like it's going to go to an interesting route, kind of more political route. I want to see what happens next, because it really does seem interesting. So yes, with all that said, I've been a driver. If you have enjoyed the video, do leave a like. It doesn't cut a bit. If you have enjoyed my content as a whole, do leave a sub. It doesn't cut a bit. But with all that said, I've been a driver, and I will see you guys later.